Welcome back to Restore Thrive. We are talking about shoulders, and specifically we're talking today about what type of exercise you can do if you start to experience pain over the top of your shoulder. Now classically in the PT world we call this impingement, and that's just basically meaning that the bone is pressing down on the tendons of the rotator cuff here. And the way that we can work around that is to try to get your shoulder blade up. Most often what we see with somebody who has pinching on the top of their shoulder when they reach overhead or they rotate their arm back into that thrower's position is that that shoulder blade is sitting down and it's rotated down as well. And so that actually creates more compression on the shoulder there. And so these two exercises, they look very similar and they're both aimed at opening up that top of the shoulder complex there and allowing that shoulder blade to move the way that it should around the rib cage as your arms go overhead or into that rotated position. So the first exercise here is with a little foam roll on the wall. What we're going to do is put this foam roll up horizontally on the wall. I'm going to place both of my hands on the foam roll just outside of my shoulders. Now for somebody who's doing this, and you can see this more from the side if you want to come around to the side, somebody who has done a fair amount of weight training and spent time in this front rack position or with the barbell on their back usually is flat through their upper thoracic spine, and that flatness will put your shoulder blade out of position. So one of the ways that we restore that normal roundness through your upper back is cueing you to pull your rib cage down slightly. So you can almost see that with me. If I'm in my normal flat position, my rib cage is flared out a little bit at the bottom. But as soon as I start to pull that down, I start to get a little rounder through my upper back, and that puts my shoulder blades in a better position. So all I'm going to do from here is simply push the roll up, try to keep my chest relaxed. And as I go up and down, as long as I feel like I'm not getting tight through my shoulder or getting pinching through my shoulder, I can actually lean a little bit towards the wall, as long as I keep that rib cage down, and then come back to the start position. So we're really training those muscles that help that shoulder blade move up and around the rib cage. Now if you don't have access to a foam roll, another way that you can work on this is simply using a wall. And in this case what we're going to do is get you perpendicular to the wall. You're going to start with your hand just slightly above shoulder level. Your elbow is going to sit outside of your shoulder, just like when we had the foam roll on the wall. I'm going to again pull my rib cage down. I'm going to push it into the wall with the back of my hand and slide my hand up. Rib cage stays down, and then come back down. And you'll see this sometimes improperly coached, where people will tell you to pull that shoulder blade down and in as your arm moves up. And that's just factually wrong. Your shoulder blade has to move up with you as you get overhead to allow that arm to get all the way overhead and back down. We just want to make sure that you're not doing something funky with your spine, which is going to over time wear out your back as you're moving your arm overhead. So in either case, we like to do higher reps here because a lot of the muscles that we're working are endurance type muscles that tend to fatigue with repetition. And so the way to solve that problem or to get stronger is to actually do some endurance based work. So your rep range is going to be between 10 and 15 repetitions. If that feels easy, you can start to spread that out to a time index of 1 to 2 minutes of continuous movement of either of those exercises. And we like to see you be able to do at least 3, if not 4 or 5 sets of those without an excessive amount of fatigue. When you get to a point where it doesn't take more than about 50 or 60% effort to do 3 to 5 sets of those exercises, you know you're ready for some higher level pressing and vertical pulling type of exercises. But if those exercises are wearing you out first, second, or third set in, where you feel like you're giving that 80 or 90 or 100% effort to get to those rep counts, then you need to keep working at that until that perceived effort level drops to about half of what your maximum would be. Give those 2 exercises a try. Let us know what you think. We'll talk to you again soon.